methods in Java. Now, methods is a generic programming term that means basically a block of code. And it's kind of a container for this block of code. You may not know it, but you've already come across what's called a method. This public static void main is a method. It contains a bunch of instructions that get executed for us. So, why would we ever want to do things like putting our code inside of methods? Well, I'll show you why. Let's have int a equal to 3, int b equal to 4. Then let's have int c equal to 5 and int d equal to 6. Then, of course, we can have our integer result1 is equal to 3 plus 4. Or rather, let's have a plus b. Let's have integer result2 is equal to c plus d. So now we have two new numbers. One is called result1, one is called result2 that adds them for us. Now this doesn't seem like a lot of hard work, but what if we had 2,000 numbers and we wanted to add them all up between them? Can you imagine writing 2,000 numbers or lines of numbers and then 2,000 operations? Well, I bet you can't. And this is where methods come in very, very handy. So let's define a method before we see why it's handy. Underneath of the closing curly brace of our void main, let's have a public static, for now, void add numbers. And this is the name of the method, just like main is the name of the method here. And we're going to pass this over an integer called a and an integer called b. Then we open our curly bracket and close it. Now you may be wondering, how is this a and b related to this a and b? And the answer is they're not. Everything contained inside of a method is only referenceable by that method. That means only all of this code can see those integers. Any code inside here cannot see these integers. They basically don't exist as far as it's concerned. So I could have as many methods as I like, where I have an a and a b, and those a and b's won't get mixed up in inverted commas. They'll always be separate. Alright, so we've created our method, and what do we want to do in it? Well, let's say int result is equal to a plus b. Then let's print out the result. System.out.println result. Now we can come back into our main method and we can get rid of these two lines and simply call add numbers, which will ask us for two numbers. So let's have a and b, and let's have another one, add numbers of c and d. Now let's compile, everything's okay, and let's run. And down here we have our results printed out. So can you see the power of methods now? Instead of writing out the additions here and then the system print line, we simply said go to add numbers and pass it these two items. So off it went, gave it the two items, which were added and then printed. So methods are a way of enclosing, first of all, a bunch of instructions we want to execute, and secondly, they're a great way to decrease the amount of code that you actually have to write. Now, there's a fundamental rule in programming that you should make as many methods as make sense, basically. Not as many as you can, but as many methods as make sense for your program. And you should name them things that make sense to humans reading it. So add numbers tells me exactly what this method does.